On April 20, 2010, the Gulf of Mexico was calm and quiet, as if the sea were holding its breath. Then, beneath the surface, methane surged upward and the water burst open with a force that seemed impossible, a disaster sudden enough to split a life in two. Ramaswamy, a worker on the platform, survived by luck, grit, and the stubborn belief that some god had held a hand over him. When he reached home, he fell to his knees and prayed in gratitude for being spared. His family, however, was already changed by the accident. He had been injured so badly that he could barely move without help, and Lakshmi, his wife, was furious at the small compensation offered for a life broken in an instant. She watched him struggle even to reach the toilet, and her anger sharpened into something constant and bitter. Their son was 15-year-old Kalu Ram, though at school he called himself Klee Allen. He had changed his name to avoid the mocking and bullying that followed him like a shadow. He was a boy of loud appetites and hidden humiliation, a curry lover whose clothes always seemed to carry the scent of spices, and a fierce admirer of Kamala Harris, whose image he followed with the devotion of someone searching for an example strong enough to imitate. One day he read in the newspaper that the president was attending a grand dinner and laughing with powerful people while families like his were left to count their losses. In his mind, the unfairness grew larger and larger until it filled every corner. He had ordered a Kalashnikov to sweep everything clean, but the real weapon never arrived. In its place came a harmless replica, a mockery of the anger he had been feeding. For a time, no one around him understood how much pressure had built inside him. His thoughts twisted between outrage and confusion, and because no one listened, the anger began to feel like a command. The day before the presidential party, Kalu took $200 from his father's pocket, bought perfume at a shop, and bathed before spraying it over himself until the room and then the whole house reeled with the smell. His mother nearly fainted in the kitchen. He then booked a room at the Hilton by calling himself a reporter from a paper called Do Not Tell Lies, paying with a credit card and sounding confident enough to make the hotel suspicious at once. Staff were warned to keep an eye on him, because something about his story did not fit. When the presidential party began, security heard a voice shouting "Drill, baby, drill." On the staircase, a young man was coming down not step by step, but sliding along the handrail, repeating the words again and again as though they were a spell. The guards rushed him, slammed him to the floor, and arrested him before he could do anything with the replica gun. In the end, the disaster at sea, the broken home, the failed anger, and the false courage all met in one restless boy. What was meant to be revenge collapsed into a public failure, and only then did the full emptiness of his plan become visible.